delay the first or the second reading. I'm saying for the second meeting, we could reach out to these people, and if today you can come in and make an appointment, I would imagine if 10 people tried to make an appointment at the same time, we'd somehow stagger them at 10 different times. So if we've got 5 people that want to come in, they make an appointment, we bring them in, they can speak, they can say their piece. It should make everyone happy, and we don't have to delay either reading to accomplish that.
Well, I think what we could do is, like this being the first reading, we could, I think we should continue with this reading to not delay anything. But what we could do is schedule an appointment for anybody that's wanting to speak on behalf of this, either through the clerk's office or our office, Michelle or Laura. That way we have a list, and but then, are we getting into the grounds of, okay, well, we're only allowing people in to come speak on behalf of this, where somebody else might want to come speak on behalf of something else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think just to be clear, we're trying to accommodate any reasonable request for appointments. So I think that would not be unreasonable. We could even do it in a more strategic way, that if certain council members want to be present and the clerk and the planning director, we could do it that way so that everything's being addressed. You guys we have to make sure we don't violate the Open Meetings Act, so it would be 2 or 3 council members. But yeah, we could do all of that. That's not an issue. It's just whatever the flavor of this elected body would prefer.
Laura?
Another way to do it would be maybe get in contact with the homeowners association, and maybe they can designate a representative or maybe 2 representatives to come here and voice all the concerns.
I think that's a great idea. And do you mind spearheading that? Or do you want our office, or however? You seem to be in contact with them more than we are. So I'm sure you know who that person is already. So,
all right.
Yeah, so what we'll do is, we'll give a certain amount of time and then just schedule, and then we can have Guido set some chairs out in the atrium, and those people can come up and speak, one at a time or whatever, if everybody's comfortable with that.
We have something to wait for everybody else to be done. Sure. 2 things. Is there any neighbors on the west side going down Superior? How far down?
There's a home there, but we haven't heard anything from them.
Okay. There's just one home there, because I haven't driven down there in a while, so you haven't heard anything from them.
Excuse me, but through the chair, she actually came in to the planning meeting. We didn't know who she was.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
She sat in the back. She just walked in.
Oh.
And she was here.
And was there any
Yeah, she was concerned about, traffic and, the whole thing. And,
so if she's not in that association, she might be, we might want to contact her too.
She wasn't overly upset about it. She just wanted to hear what was going on.
Okay, and the other thing is if this gets approved for the rezoning, it does not come back to us from planning. Planning makes all the decisions then from there on, right?
You have final approval. City Council has final approval on PUDs. The rezoning has to go through for a first reading, has to go through twice. The next time the rezoning comes before you, it will be in conjunction with approval or rejection of the site plan.
Okay.
So the final decision will be made at the next meeting.
Okay. So, you comfortable with voting on this tonight? Okay. So this is the first reading. The motion is on the floor. Councilman Mazur?
I mean, if we're going to continue with this, I believe I heard that we had the developers here. Unless there's an objection, give them an opportunity if they wanted to come up and say some words.
Sure,
and
I kind of lost
might
track.
inspire some more questions on our part. So.
Yeah.
Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing us to be here. My name is Sam Martin, and I'm part of the project here. I've been working with the township now for quite some time trying to get this in process. One of the things that we always take into very high concern is the neighbors. We want to make sure the neighbors are in on this as well. So I don't really have a real big problem doing a little bit of postponing for this, but I do have a little bit of concern about so many family members are calling us and knowing that we're going to be building this, and they're already wanting to move their loved ones into our facility as well too. So we're kind of thinking along those lines as well too. So we're trying to keep 2 groups of people happy at this point in time. So that's kind of a concern as well. But we definitely want to listen to the ones in the neighborhood to make sure they know and understand what we're building. I have a wonderful slideshow presentation. I would be more than happy to go over with that with the families, with you or whoever. to kind of go through and show some of our previous projects, some of the requests that they made, whether it's certain type of greeneries they'd like us to put along the buildings to make sure that nothing's obstructing certain views. But our buildings, first and foremost, are very beautiful. You have very high guidelines and standards of how you want these buildings to look. We're going to take that to even the next level. And the same thing with our landscaping. We always take that to the next level as well, too. So, but I'll welcome any questions that anybody has while I'm up here.
Mr. Chair.
Let me just quickly compliment you. I did look at a few of your facilities, and they are very impressive. I will
Thank you
say
so
that,
much.
yeah. Well, Councilman Mazur?
It seems like some of the questions, I mean, Charlie might be able to speak to it better than I, but is the buffer in the area between your development and what's already there, can you just said that you're gonna have a willingness to listen to what they have, but currently, right now, what do you plan on doing in terms of that area? We heard about a 6-foot wall, we're gonna leave some trees. How exactly do you vision the barrier between your property and Coach Lake?
I have my civil engineer here, and he can explain a lot better than I can exactly what we proposed. So, Evan, if you want to come up and explain that a little bit better than I can.
Hello, thank you. Evan Priest, engineer in the project. So what we plan to do along the north property line was leave, we have 52 feet to the building, I believe. Some of that's going to be occupied by the construction of a water main, which will then be restored with, I think, like Laura mentioned, some kind of grass paver, hard surface, but that looks more like lawn than a paved road. And then in the remaining area, which I believe is about 30-some feet, we're leaving as many viable trees as we can in that area, and then we're going to augment that area with, well, an awful lot of other plantings that dominated, I think, by, I'm sorry, I'm
No,
not
you're
a
fine.
landscape guy necessarily, but, well, we're trying to thicken it up anyway. But in addition to that, there is that screening wall as well. So, you know, we obviously it won't be the same as having an entire woods back there, but we're trying to plant it up as well as we can to soften the blow for them.
Okay, Councilman Johnson?
I haven't looked at the plans closely, but from the back, there's like 9 condos. You know, the one lady I was talking to, she's almost in tears. She goes, I'm looking at woods now I'm gonna look at a 6-foot wall, 9 feet from my deck. And I understand, you know, I understand. I mean, I live on 3 acres, I'm lucky, but, you know, and she's upset, and, you know, she's gonna look at a wall. She's not gonna see the trees you're leaving or the 50 foot, because she's looking at a wall. So, you know, that was my concern. I wanted them to be able to express their opinions, you know.
Certainly we understand that as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the wall is a requirement.
Right, I understand that,
Oh.
you know, but, you know, like she said, I'm gonna sit on my deck, I'm gonna look at a 6-foot wall where I'm looking at trees now. And I understand the whole thing of progress, and there could be a 65-foot building there, but, you know, at least they could, you know, be able to express themselves in front of this body, is what my concern is.
Okay. Is there any other questions?
Did they ever put the trees first and then the wall? So if I'm in you know, out the back and there's trees and then wall?
We've never done a wall before.
Oh,
First time we built a wall, so this is the first time we experienced it, so we'll be willing to work with the
yeah, I was just throwing that out there, so.
Usually we have our buildings are so beautiful and we put the landscaping up. We never had to build a wall before, so.
Through the chair, and
Councilman
that
Johnson.
it would be on their property, so they couldn't really go on their property, because it's on the property line. So,
The trees are on the property line.
no, the walls could be
Oh,
on the property line.
That's what I'm saying, but if the trees, you know, like, where the property line is and there's trees and there could be a wall here. You know, I'm looking at that, never mind. I'm just trying to think, I'm trying to think of something. And then is there there is no pond anymore, correct?
That's correct.
On the Pardee side, Pardee and Superior, right on the end there, is there a dry